Own AI or lose. The mistake isn't ignoring AI, it's keeping your old operating model. After 25 years of scaling Oracle, SAP, and ServiceNow, Abhijit Mitra, CEO of Outreach, now leads a $4.4 billion unicorn through one of the biggest pivots in tech history.
Meaning of my name, Abhijit. In Sanskrit, it means somebody who has overcome fear.
Most leadership teams are experimenting with AI tools, but very few are truly redesigning their organization around them.
So Outreach, we are an agentic AI platform for revenue teams. That's who we are today. Let sellers do what they do best and let AI do the rest.
This is where most leaders get it wrong. They're adding AI and he's rebuilding around it.
When you're in the meeting, my agents actually join the meeting and coach me in real time. It has to be a top-down initiative. As a leader, you need to own this charter. This cannot be delegated downwards.
In this episode, you'll learn why AI is a leadership decision, not a tech decision, how agentic AI will redesign revenue teams from the inside out, and the one role every company must build or hire for before it's too late. It's time to lead the team. Now you're moving into the CEO role at literally one of the most volatile moments in tech history. On the first day you got into the CEO chair, you closed the door, you're alone. What were the initial fears that potentially came to mind?
To answer that question, Ben, you got to understand the meaning of my name, Abhijit. In Sanskrit, it means Abhoy ke je joy koreche, which means somebody who has overcome fear.
Wow. Your name means you've already overcome fear. The person's really? Wow. So when were you told this? How young were you when you were told this was the meaning of your name?
Oh, I was a little kid and I was afraid of like pretty much everything. So that's when my mom told me, do you know what the meaning of your name is? I'm like, no, it means you shouldn't have any fear. Okay.
Abhijit, AI is rewriting how revenue teams operate. Is this something that leaders can afford to delegate?
It has to be a top-down initiative. It cannot be a bottom-up initiative. My advice to industry leaders out there is that think of it as your own charter, not something which your team will bubble up to you. This is you. You have to do this.
Yeah.
And learn about what are the possibilities. I am CEO of Outreach. We are building agentic AI for go-to-market teams to the market. But I am learning every day about what's happening in the market. What are the technology trends? What are my customers doing? What are the problems that I'm seeing with people who are actually using AI already today? Very AI savvy, but still the issues there. Where do I see the challenges with customers taking them into this new era? So I'm learning and I'm pushing my team and I'm pushing my customers as well. And so that's my word of advice. As a leader, you need to own this charter. This cannot be delegated downwards. When you're in the meeting, for example, if I'm meeting you, my agents actually join the meeting and coach me in real time. Let sellers do what they do best, which is building relationships with people and connecting, and let AI do the rest. The industry is going through a big change now with the advent of generative AI. And Outreach was always at the forefront of AI on how it transformed the seller's experience. And generative AI is new for all of us in the last couple of years, really. So I wanted to really, really leverage that and make a huge impact on the industry. So I was super excited to be in this role.
So you were feeling nerves, but the nerves were excitement, or at least that's how you chose to interpret them.
Yes.
Then being like, oh my gosh, okay, now I finally got the thing that I wanted. So we all have those moments where sometimes where are we going to be able to do this? But you were feeling confident and you're like, this is what my mom's been telling me I've been ready for my whole life.
Yeah, you could say that.
So in your story, you took over the CEO role from a person who was like a big personality, right? Like Manny Medina, well known. He founded the company, scrappy, a lot of stories about him, just kind of larger than life.
Yes.
And here you are taking over the role. Now you were already you already knew Manny because you'd already worked for him, right? So you're coming
Yes.
into this role. And I think about big moments in history. Like I went to the University of Alabama. Nick Saban, this great football coach, he retired. And who wants to fill the shoes of Nick Saban, right? This guy, Kalen DeBoer, who came from Washington. And it's been a challenge, right? Because he's not Nick Saban. He doesn't even try to be Nick Saban. What has the tension been like from you, coming into these big shoes? And what's it been like? Because some people would describe it as like a poison chalice, like they're passing the cup. But it's like, I don't know if I want to drink from that cup or not, because it's not going to be easy.
Well, Manny created this category. And so he was a visionary, and he'll always be the visionary for us and for me personally. I and Manny are very close. And Manny actually nominated me for the role of the CEO when he was stepping aside. Now, one of the things that you did mention that I also learned, and along the years, I've had many mentors who have helped me making these very important transitions in my life. And some of them are actually mentoring me. Some of them are my advisors even today here at Outreach. So one of them actually told me that, like, look, and he actually went through this transition himself. He took over as CEO from a founder of another company. And so one of the things that he told me is that, hey, make sure that you have a purpose of the company, which is not Manny's purpose, not your purpose, but the purpose of the company. And so during this time, a gentleman who I had worked with when I was in ServiceNow, his name is Alan Marks, he helped us come up with the purpose of ServiceNow when I was at ServiceNow. And so he helped us dig into sort of who we are and why we exist and what do we want to do. And so we ran this a workshop for a couple of months, actually, and we came up with this purpose, which is about unleashing your best performance. And we said that, look, we are here because we want to unleash our own best performance in doing what we do, in every function, in every role. And in doing so, we want to help unleash the best performance of our customers. And so that's what we, not just me, there was a cross-functional team actually who came together. And we said that that's basically what represents us. And so we made that our company's purpose and our company's mission. And so that was one of the key things that I did right after I took over the CEO.
Hey there, this is Ben. If you're a leader in navigating AI transformation or scale, this isn't just casual content. This is executive level thinking. So here's what I'd ask you to do. Number one, subscribe, not for the notifications, but because leadership today requires a real executive level perspective. And if this conversation challenges you, forward it to one leader on your team. The ones who win in this new era won't be the smartest. They'll be the ones who stay curious. It's so good in that. And one of the things I want to highlight is like what I heard in that is like, Ben, it's not about me. The transition's not about me, what we're doing. It's really just about trying to keep the main thing, which is what is the company's direction? What's the company? And I love how you found that alignment between, hey, we're here to unleash our own performance, but we're only here to do it in the name of helping our customers unleash their performance.
That's right.
Don't make it all about us even. Make it about the customer. And yeah, then you're going to be in a lot different place that you're operating from. Now, this word unleash, you could say increase performance. You could say a lot of different things. Why the word unleash? Because when I hear unleash, it means your potential is already there. Like
Yes.
what makes you, it's already there. We're just here to, I don't know, it's a very specific word that you chose there.
Yes.
So why are you choosing that as a leader, thinking about unleashing yours, your teams, your company's performance and your clients? Why that word?
That was our understanding as well, that within each person, there is so much of potential, um, and you're looking for an avenue uh, somehow to bring your best outward, outside of yourself, sort of. Um, to some extent, it applies to me also. Like, so I'm in this role at that time. This is 1.5 years ago, and I'm excited, and I believe
Mm,
I can do this, and I want to unleash myself, unleash the best in me.
mm,
And so, if you look at some of the folks who have come into outreach over the last 1.5 years, these are folks who have come here because they want to prove themselves. They think they can do a lot more
mm,
than what they have done in the past, and that's why they're here. And when we look at our technology and how we help our customers, that's how we look at it as well. We use AI, but AI for the purpose of good, for the purpose of
mm.
making people better at what they do, for helping unleash their performance or unleash their best version of themselves. So that's what we truly, truly believe in. So that's why the word unleash. And even our annual customer conference is called Unleash, um, because we believe that our
Mm,
customers come together to unleash their experiences
mm.
and talk about it with each other so they can help each other out essentially, and help out the industry in general, unleash their best performance. So that's what
Yeah.
we truly
Mm.
believe in as a company.
Well, I like it in so many ways, and not to get metaphysical about it, but it's like, hey, you're holding people and your customers as complete as they are. It's like, hey, we're here. We're just here to bring what's there already out of you, help you hit those levels. I think it's a really powerful and positive way to go about it. Outreach as a reputation is huge, right? You guys are one of the first big sales platforms. Um, and my impression, I'm not put words in your mouth, but before it was a lot about volume and connection and like sending out customized emails with the situation and just lots of email, lots of messages.
Right.
My understanding now is you're coming in and you're taking a much different approach.
Yes.
So I'm thinking about what is the company's reputation out there that I'll say you're, on one hand, you're building on a reputation from being known, but it's interesting because you're also going in a different direction. So your reputation might actually work against you in in some places. So how are you thinking about navigating those conversations as a leader and like keeping what's worked and what's built it to the stuff that's working against you now?
Yeah. So outreach, we are an agentic AI platform for revenue teams. And that's who we are today. That's the Outreach 2.0 that, as I say, uh, which we are re-architected completely bottom up, making it an agentic AI platform. And I'll explain the Outreach 2.0, and then I'll go back to answer your question of
Okay.
how it transitioned from the past.
Yeah. Unleashing what can be. Yeah.
That's right. And in this process, what we do is our AI agents are actually augmenting humans, unleashing their best performance. That's the whole idea in various roles. If you're, whether you're an SDR, whether you're an account exec, whether you're a sales leader or revenue operations person or customer success. So it's helping you unleash your best performance, augmenting you in
Hmm.
orchestrating workflows that you do in your day-to-day job. For example, you're building pipeline. For example, you're managing accounts. For example, you're closing deals. You're doing forecasting. You're coaching team members. All of these various processes. Now, there are a couple of words that I use when I said this. Uh,
Hmm.
I use the word AI agents. I said augments team members. I said orchestrate workflows. I use the word workflow, and this is basically the connection to our past, because we are known as a workflow platform for sales engagement. So that's
Mm.
historically how Outreach has been. We created this whole domain of sales engagement essentially. And now that entire domain has merged into a new category of software called revenue orchestration, where we are the market leader as per the industry analysts. Um, so our core is workflow, orchestrating work, getting things done. That's our core.
Mm.
And when you think about agentic AI,
Mm.
which is acting on behalf of people and getting things done, it's a very natural match right there, actually.
Mm. Okay.
So we are playing to our core strength with agentic AI and expanded the scope of what that work is. It's not just prospecting and building pipeline, which we are number one and best at, but it's also about closing deals and forecasting and
Okay.
coding. So that's how the story continues.
So as a leader, changing the direction, that's not a complete change, but it's a transformation. You find it very important to connect it to the words of the past that the company's familiar with, that your customers are familiar with and what you guys are known for, but you're working to bridge it into this new future of agentic AI. Now, what is the stuff that sales leaders used to do all the time, and maybe like their bread and butter of what they used to do before agentic AI, that now they don't have to do that anymore? Like, that's just not going to be part of the sales leader's future with the technology that you're building.
A lot of the grunt work that you typically don't want to do or are not good at doing either. For example, researching an account. Let me give you an example. Researching an account.
Yeah.
An
Yeah.
account research is a very, very time-consuming work, and you have to do it in order to understand what your sales plays are, who you should be talking to, what you have positioned, what
Yeah.
you can position more. All of that is
Yeah.
very
And
critical.
this should be done before you even talk to somebody. Like a
Exactly.
sales call, hopefully, but maybe you just want to call somebody or you're going to try to email somebody new. You need to know who the heck they are. You just
Yes.
can't spam them to death with whatever. You have to have details. And you
So
guys are
now
agents working on it.
imagine that you had your own agent, your personal agent, who was actually doing all of the research according to what you wanted to be researched, not what the
Hmm.
agent wants to research. So you're in charge. You say, hey, these are the 10 different things I want to know about the account. Tell me what else should I know about the account? Oh, maybe these 3 things you should also know about the account. Okay, good idea. 13 things that I want to know about the account. Go find this 24/7 for me and keep me up to date.
Hmm.
That's a task that sellers would spend a lot of time doing in the past. Managers would spend a lot of time doing in the
Yeah.
past. So critical for them, but they don't need to anymore
Hmm.
because the agent is doing it for them. So
And the
that's a good
agent preps
example.
it, prepares it. So they just
Complete.
open their computer and boom, there's all the information
Yes,
for them. Does it
that's
message, do the agents go as far as to take that information, craft a message, and actually send it as a message within LinkedIn?
there you go. Now you actually are describing what outreach
That
does. So,
well,
so
that's a separate agent, but it's under the outreach.
that's right. That's right. Ben, you nailed it. So that's how it works. So basically, now that you have all the data together, now you're strategizing what should be my sales place? What product should I sell? What's the angle? What's happening in its industry? What's happening for this customer? Now, what you can do is you can give instructions to the agents, and the agents are doing this 24/7 for you and saying that, okay,
Mm,
when the time is right, because the agents are listening to signals that's happening in the market, or when the time is right, or when you actually have a specific conversation which leads to this possibility, then I'm going to send out an email on your behalf or create a LinkedIn post and line it up. And maybe can even give you some talking points for your upcoming phone call or prep you for the meeting so that you know exactly what to talk about. And I'm going to warm up your customer, your contact, or your prospect for you before you meet them. And make sure they are actually interested in talking to you and you're not wasting their time. So the agent actually does all of this work, reaches out to the customer, and then you go into the meeting.
can it preview the personal side? So say the person is raising money for something on Facebook for like a pet project. Would the salesperson be notified, hey, by the way, they're going to meet with them, but they are also running in a 5K to raise money for MS or something like that? Maybe you need to make a donation or maybe ask them about it. Is it that
Absolutely.
good?
So, yeah, I mean, it listens to all the news and social information as well. And then not only could it alert the rep or the manager, but it could also use that in the personalization of the message that it's sending out
Hmm.
to that person at the company as well. Even after the meeting, the agents are following up and updating my CRM or sending out follow up emails and
Hmm.
doing all of that stuff for me. So a lot of the work that, again, like I said, that you need to do in order to be able to sell, very critical work, but now you don't because the agent does it for you. So that actually frees up a lot of your time to be more productive.
Yeah, I'm sure people are listening now and they're like, yeah, that's a lot of time in sales. And we're talking about in a sales context, but leaders, I mean, you need to know this on your key suppliers. Like people, like if you're on the buying side of the business and you're going to be meeting with them, you need to know about the people coming to you. So you can kind of reverse this, you know, and understand with their world and your ecosystem and the drivers of this. Now, so some interesting questions come to mind, of course, when we're, first of all, this thing is happening at light speed. And there's a
Yes.
lot coming through.
Yeah.
People, what happens when someone figures out, they're like, wait a minute, this is an agent, not a human being. And I'll give you a quick example. This is a little bit of a random example. On Instagram, I was in New York recently, and I thought, oh, I have a couple hours. I want to get a couple of headshots in front of this area for some marketing that we're doing for our show, some of our business stuff. So I reached out to some Gen Zers on Instagram because they have like really creative perspectives on headshots and the photography. And I reached out to the person on Instagram, and and they say, hey, you know, this is a chat bot. This is it's not exactly agentic, but a little bit. And this bot engages me for like a long time, asking me questions. And it's literally making reference points in Manhattan to where I could go nearby to get these pictures shot. Mm-hmm. And they'll say, hey, great, we're going to do it this afternoon. We're on at 5:30. And I just reply, can I please get a response back from a real person to do this before I go? Yeah. And finally, the guy, the person actually emails me back and he's like, man, I'm so sorry about this. That's my bot and I don't do last minute requests. Now, I wasn't upset. I was like, okay, that's interesting. But eventually, right, we're going to, so that's one question I have is, because right now our expectation is that this is not agentic AI bot people interacting with us. People are going to be thinking this is a real person. It's going to be so good. But eventually, are we just going to change our expectations, or we're just going to assume that this is an AI agent? You know, what's your perspective on that?
So I have two things to say. One is that the agentic AI is not just about interacting with people. That's just one aspect of it. There are so many other things that the agents do behind the scenes. And so most of the autonomous agent examples are things that you don't see because it's, for example, going and researching an account for you. For
the
example,
research, that's all behind the scenes.
To
make the human interaction better eventually when it happens.
That's right. Updating preparing you for the meeting, updating your notes, updating your opportunities, doing your forecasting. So a whole bunch of stuff that happens behind the scenes. That's really the majority of the agentic AI work. Now, the part of that you were talking about where the agent actually interacts with another human on your behalf. And there are various modes of doing that. They're fully autonomous, which is what the chatbot example was. We don't do a chatbot at all.
You don't believe in that, or you don't? That's just not part of your platform, or how it's your?
No.
Okay.
And but we do have multi-channel engagement like email, LinkedIn, phone call, things of that sort. That we do. Orchestrate outbound. That we do. But even within that paradigm, there are various modes. There is a mode of fully autonomous. There is a mode of human oversight, meaning the agent is keying it up for you, and then you are essentially personalizing whatever you're personalizing, and that's coming out. And then there is somewhere in between, which is that initially you're doing a lot of stuff manually, and the agent is learning, and then slowly is taking on your personality. It's something similar to what you do in Cloud or chatbot. Initially, it's very robotic.
Yes.
And then slowly takes on your personality. It has memory, it remembers what you're saying.
Right.
And then it becomes like almost your own voice. And then it becomes a lot more effective. And if it may actually even do the same sort of biases as you have, which is a problem, but that's what That's when it actually represents you,
Yeah,
truly.
yeah.
So
My
that's how
bot becomes a
it works.
smoker. No, I do not. I do not smoke, y'all. I'm just saying, like, I can't get my bot from stop vaping. It's just addicted.
Except that
Just
it
kidding,
has
man.
all the guidance of the
Yeah,
organization and the enterprise around it, so it's not completely doing things off the rails,
right.
which is actually a lot of the
Yeah.
work that we do to make sure it's within compliance and it's being evaluated against proper standards and stuff like that. So
So
that's how it works.
that's really effective. So it's not all or nothing, and there are a lot
No.
of ways that you're sort of navigating this. So it's up to the leaders, I think, to have a vision for how far do they want the interactions with the end customer to be,
Yeah.
and the consequences will be what they're going to be. You may, if you go high volume and you want them interacting on the messages without your team involved,
Yes.
you may get more people on the line, but they also might get, feel weird when they realize, hey, this is not a real person. Do
That's right.
you? I'm
For
just thinking
example,
about that. Good.
just to
Yeah.
you're on the right. So for some of our customers, for the high volume a business where they have hundreds of thousands of customers, they rely on the agents quite a bit. For their strategic business, they also rely on the agents, but they want the human supervision there a lot more. So that's a common trend that we see.
Yeah. I mean, it's an incredible world. Where do you think ethically things fall with automation? And I know agentic AI is like not automation. All right, these are two different things. But in terms of where is the ethical line that leaders need to be thinking about for themselves for letting someone know that they're not interacting with a person, they're interacting with a machine. Uh, how to think about that.
Yeah, I think you should always let your audience know who, like, if it's a machine or a person. I think that's um mandatory to me. Um so I think so. I mean, at least we do in wherever we generate content, we say this is being personalized by the machine.
Hmm.
And then it's
Hmm.
up to each organization to decide how much of that they want to expose to their customer versus keep it internal to themselves. But whenever we produce something which is produced agentically, we actually say this is produced by the agent, whereas this is produced by the machine. And a lot of today in the world we are in, um, it is not so safe also to let everything be agentic. So
Okay, that was my next question. Yeah,
yes, there's a lot of
who's
trust and
responsible for
correct. So there's a
weird
loss of
stuff?
trust and security that is inbuilt into these paradigms.
Hmm.
And so explainability is a big thing that you need to explain that, hey, this content is coming up or this action is being taken because of XYZ reasons. And that because of XYZ reasons is something that has to be audited continuously in order to make sure that we have the compliance and controls in place. Because in the end, we are responsible for this and our customers are responsible for what they're doing with their customers, right? So that responsibility does not go away. um
It really puts you guys in an interesting position because they're really your employees, and I'm using quotes, right? The agentic agents are your employees working for a company. It's almost like the way I think of it is, and I could be wrong on this one, because they're like contractors back in the day, where like a company would hire a contractor and the contractor would come on site, they would file stuff, they would take things around, uh, move things, maybe produce information. But the difference is, it seems like your agents are going to be a lot more capable in terms of what it can do, the complexity, and the very fast impact it can make. So, how do you talk to leaders about what's their responsibility versus your responsibility? If your agents get all swept up and they're having success and the business is like, oh, our agents are doing all this great work, but then they come back a month later and they're like, uh-oh, like we weren't really paying attention to that. It seemed like they were doing a great job, but they really were getting off in the wrong direction, who's responsible for like the financial impact, or maybe just that they have to even go back and do like double work because the agents create a lot of information that wasn't right and has to get redone.
Yeah. So we have a very clear contract with our customers on which part of is the technology and the guardrails, and which part of is the training and the data. The training and the data actually is our customer's responsibility, because it is the data of our customers that the agents are actually manipulating or working on.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
so the training and the data and be utilizing the guardrails that we provide to make sure the agents are doing their function is really the customer's responsibility. On the other hand, we also go hand in hand with our customers, with our forward deployment engineers, to make sure
Okay.
that customers are completely comfortable with understanding what the agents do for which use case, how to manage them, how to guardrail them, how to train them, how to make them more effective. So all of those things we do hand in hand with our customers. Um,
Hmm.
because the other thing in this agentic AI world is that these are not seats that you sell; these are consumption credits that you sell. And if our customers don't use the
Hmm.
agents,
Okay.
then we don't recognize revenue. So that means we need to be highly vested in the success of our customers, truly unleashing their best performance, without which we will not be able to unleash our own best
What's
performance, literally monetarily.
that is a really interesting. Uh, People think agentic AI a lot of times, I believe, means you don't have to do certain things, but it does not mean you're still not close to the business.
You have to be
And
very close to the business.
I'm curious about your take on this, Abhijit. I think it's very dangerous for leaders because out of sight, out of mind, working with you guys, you're taking work off their plate. But to your point, you're like, we know we have to be closer to the business and our customers have to be closer to understanding what's happening than they even did before. But they're not literally doing the work. And I think human nature, I don't hear your perspective on this. Human nature is out of sight, out of mind. And that's why that saying, I mean, I think that was that Shakespeare? Like, I don't know, like this, like this is a very old adage, out of sight, out of mind, because that's what humans do. If we don't see it, we forget about it and we move on. And that could be where this thing breaks apart.
Yeah. So there is the rise of a role that I feel very strongly about. I call it the GTM architect. And the
Hmm.
GTM architect is a role within the go to market revenue operations function that is entrusted or will be entrusted going forward with making sure that the agentic AI platform is set up, functioning correctly, managed
Hmm.
correctly, applied to the right use cases. Um, and so I'm seeing customers starting to invest in this role. It's not in IT and it is not only in business, it's somewhere in between, where
Hmm.
the person is looking at the use cases and figuring out, okay, this use cases maps to this kind of technology and it impacts these people across these processes. And this is hence what the go to market architecture is. Not a technical architecture, it's a functional and people architecture and process architecture.
Ooh.
um,
Okay.
and these roles are new, but they're coming up and will be very important going forward, um, because the organization which will be having the oversight will be the go to market operations team in our industry, in
What
our
what
category.
skills do you need? I'm thinking of college students, but I'm thinking about people now whose jobs are under attack in terms of, hey, I this job needs to be changed. Do something different. What are the skills and things they need to prepare for that role? And I completely agree, from what you're saying, that that's going to be a vital role.
Yes. Well, it's going to be, it's interesting, but whenever you hear the thing in the industry that, hey, you know what, AI is coming, all the jobs are going to go away, or computers are coming, everybody's going to be jobless from tomorrow, or that internet is going to wipe out everybody, nobody's going to have a job from tomorrow. Um, I mean, we have seen this, right, in our lifetime, and we have seen how the jobs evolve. There are new jobs that come out, and this is going to be one of those jobs, super critical. And one of the criteria for this will be around the skills will be around, first of all, business process. This person needs to be an expert of that part of the business process within the overall corporate processes. This person needs to understand the organization, the people who are part of the business process, what their roles are. This person needs to understand where are the overlapping functions, where are the overlaps, where things needs to be broken down, things needs to be simplified. So a lot of that. And then this person needs to understand what are the technologies that are available which can actually solve those business challenges that you are trying to solve. And then how is agentic AI being leveraged in this? This person needs to understand the architecture of what agentic AI even means. The fact that you are actually giving Gen AI instructions, prompts, essentially. Even prompt building will become a lot more automated going forward. Today is very manual. You have to manually type out prompts and stuff. So even prompts will be generated by AI as well going forward. So this person needs to have an idea of where the AI technologies are going and where the business problems are and how that process is being orchestrated. So it's a very multifunctional role,
Wow.
essentially. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it could be weird for leaders to hear that. You thought this was about tech, but it's got to be about people, right? I mean, the people in both
Absolutely.
areas.
Absolutely. In the end, it's
Oh
about
my
people.
God.
We also had a couple of customers recently at one of our conference telling us about uptake of AI is not an easy thing in most organizations, because everybody has a different point of view of what AI can do. And there are so many different solutions out there who claim to do the same thing, that and everybody's trying to sell to a different part in your organization. You have so many leaders who believe that, oh, you know what, this vendor just pitched to me, that sounded like amazing. Oh, that vendor pitched to me, that sounded like amazing. Oh, your vendor versus my vendor. So within organization there's so many voices of, hey, how something should be done, that's a challenge, and that slows everything down to some extent.
Wow.
So there
Yeah.
is this need to
It's
figure out, okay, which problem are we solving first, and hence which technology are we applying to that, for which persona, for which process. In the end, it's always the persona and the process which is doing something in a company, right? And that process is what you're trying to solve for. You're trying to optimize for that process. And if you don't think of it from that perspective, if you're thinking it only from a technology perspective, it's not going to work.
all right, y'all. Own it. Abhijit's telling you to own it. I believe it. We all got to own it for ourselves and our curiosity, and start building out our approach here. It's going to be a wild ride. And y'all reach out to Abhijit and his team. I'm sure they'll share more with you, but so much cool stuff going on at Outreach. Thanks for joining us today, man. It's a fun one, Abhijit.
Thanks for having me here, Ben.